So, the main thing I took from the Harlem Renaissance and what I based my project off of was acceptance and kind of optimism. And it's not that the Harlem Renaissance was a tremendous showing of optimism and acceptance, because, you know, there's still a lot of racism going on and still a lot of just bad stuff, but compared to you know, the Civil War time and slavery, this was the first kind of highlights that African Americans had. And so that in itself gave them a lot of optimism, and today we wouldn't say they were accepting and they were open to all races, but as opposed to before, it was a new era of acceptance and optimism, and it was quite a new time. You like that? New time? So the pieces I'll show to you today are ones that show acceptance, that show optimism, and that hopefully kind of give you a bit of the lighter side of the Harlem Renaissance as opposed to all the negatives that were swirling around that time period. This is our comrade, Marvin Mannheimer. He's German.
He's also Jewish. And Langston Hughes fought for equality among all races. So sad. So touching. Oh, by golly, I did not see you there. While I have your attention, I would love to read you a poem. Actually, this is one of my personal favorites. I Dream a World by Langston Hughes. But first, before I read to you, I must put little Junior safely into bed. Well, let's see. I dream a world where no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its path adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blight our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head and joy like a pearl attends the need of all mankind. Of such a dream, my world. Now, this poem has a really deep meaning. It's a really great poem. I Dream a World by Langston Hughes explores racial and moral boundaries. The persona speaks in a hopeful tone and expresses their personal thoughts and dreams of a world with no boundaries. The persona dreams of a world where no racial boundaries are apparent and we all live in harmony and freedom. The persona's optimistic tone in this verse conveys the fact that the reality of racial prejudice in society interferes with such a dream. Thank you for listening to my story.
This is our good friend, Ben Lee. In this presentation, we use such words as happiness and optimism, which are quite hard to understand. So, I wanted to show you happiness. But like all things, happiness is best shared. I'm going to twirl you on count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now you see Dr. Rosencrantz approaching as he stops his car and puts it into park.
You can tell he cares about the environment by the Prius he drives.
And the way he turns off his iPod to conserve energy.
He is such a caring man. Let's hope he cares as much for the people as he does for the environment. What's he doing now? He's probably saving the world or volunteering in the soup kitchen or something in his car.
He is. He has, you know. I hear that he once went around. I hear he once went around the world twice in 2 days. Ooh, look at that.
Hello again and welcome. I'm Dr. Johnson, and these are my colleagues, Dr. Brown and Dr. Rosencrantz.
Actually, that would be a medical doctor of humanistic, societal, and behavioral problems in 18th century Aborigines, PhD, Esquire.
My apologies. Let us continue.
Of course. What is the secret of human happiness and fulfillment? Is it Is it medicine? Or is it me?
That's why we are here with our black fellow friend here.
This red-blooded American that is
Black, also.
yes. And we like to break the racial divides, and we don't recognize skin color. I don't look at him, and I don't look at him and think he's an African American. I look at him and think he's
Africa.
I think he's a man who loves his teddy bear. And I look at my Canadian colleague, and I think he's a man who looks fantastic in a bow tie.
Teddy bear.
Yes, thank you. And any words, Mr. Brown?
I just have to say, I really love men of all colors. I mean, this is a great...
And women, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
My next poem is The Negro Speaks the Rivers by Langston Hughes. I picked it because it shows acceptance and shows some positive light. Like most of the pieces I picked. So I'm going to read a few, and then I'll give you my analysis. The Negro Speaks Rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden into sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. And Langston Hughes wrote this when he was just 18, and it shows quite a deep understanding of the world for someone of that age. So first off, he goes to mention all races. He does this by mentioning the rivers. You know, for instance, the Euphrates, which is often been called the cradle of mankind, the Congo, the Nile, the Mississippi, and that. And the speaker of the poem claims to have bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young, and the voice that begins civilization. And then he focuses on an African kind of point of view. Is I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and I raised my pyramids above it. And this doesn't limit the voice strictly to a black one, because white and yellow races have lived near the Congo, and were actually among the Egyptian slaves who built the pyramids. The most important thing I take from this is that the speaker recognizes his identity as a child of not only his biological parents, but also as a child of the cosmos, and he is linked with all races and creeds for all time. And yeah, a lot of Langston Hughes' poems tend to be kind of angry, or they point blame at something, and in this one, he just tends to kind of accept we're all the same, we're all the children of the universe, and he doesn't really make any calls for action and anything. He's just kind of stating facts, and I think it's quite good.
The doctor is in.